Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Steelbook Obsessed. My name is Jake, and I thought I would come on here because I saw a news article that really grabbed my attention as a lover of horror films, specifically in the slasher genre. I saw that the rights for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise are now up for grabs, which seems a little bit baffling, a little nuts. I know we just got our most recent Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie in 2022 that went straight to Netflix. That seemed to be a bit on the divisive side. I feel like a lot of Texas Chainsaw movies have really split the crowd in between really liking or really hating or just like not even caring about, with a lot of people landing in that middle gap. We're gonna go over a Hollywood Reporter article that I saw, and I think this might bring up some ideas as to who would be interested in purchasing the franchise and making an installment in the franchise. If you like this type of movie news, anytime I see something that really calls to me, I like to make videos about it, try to get them quickly out there. If you like this type of content, make sure you like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But let's get to this article now, shall we? Texas Chainsaw Massacre rights up for grabs, sending Hollywood foaming. A number of bold-faced names have been mentioned as showing interest. There are two parties that this article claims want to have the rights to Texas Chainsaw, and it's not really any big companies. It's not a Warner Brothers. It's not a New Line. It's not Legendary anymore, of course. We're talking about Andy Muschietti, who has directed It and It Chapter 2 and The Flash, and a whole bunch of other films. But I feel like his take on Texas Chainsaw, I would like to see. Personally, my feelings on the entire franchise, first one is of course a classic. You can pop that on at any time and I will be enthralled from start to finish. 2 goes a little bit into the campy cheese. Only seen the movie once. It's way different than the original. Still a lot of fun to be had if you're in the mood for fun. And I know a leap from 1 to 2 being super horror and big cheese fest that 2 is. It is a lot to swallow for someone who's stepping into it for the first time. It's a fun ride. Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, not the biggest fan of at all. Viggo Mortensen is fun in the material, but even he could not save that movie. I thought it was pretty much a snore fest by me. I haven't seen all the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. I've seen, of course, the 2003 reboot. Not my cup of tea. A lot of people love this movie. A lot of people think that this movie is their second favorite in the franchise. That's great. For me, I just think that it is solely stuck in that early to mid 2000s horror bubble. Absolutely drives me a little bit nuts. I don't think that era has really aged that gracefully. And the movie's fun, but for me, a little bit forgettable. They also made a sequel or a prequel to that, Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. Haven't seen that movie. Haven't seen Leatherface. Haven't seen Texas Chainsaw, because I've heard a lot of middling things about the movie and the franchise as a whole. That's why when I hear that Andy Muschietti is excited about getting the rights to hopefully make a film, this just says he wants to purchase the rights to Texas Chainsaw, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to have that IP readily available. I feel like with the horror re-renaissance that's happening right now, that's been happening for the past like 3 years, people are ready for Leatherface to come back in some manner. Again, talking a little bit more about the Netflix movie, I thought that was a very fun time. I wish I could have saw that in the theater, but like the main thing that sticks out to me is the gore fest that movie really brought to the table. And I think that in the right hands, and those hands might be Andy Muschietti's, I feel like that type of vein would still continue. I don't really care about Leatherface lore. The 2022 movie kind of got into that with like the main girl from the first one coming back in this one. I just want some brutality with my kills. 2003 gave that to us too. I guess I want a little bit more than that. I don't know what I want with Texas Chainsaw. Maybe that is the route to go, because you need more than just like some chainsaw kills. A lot of horror movie IPs, a lot of franchises that I grew up with that were released in the 70s and 80s are kind of just nowhere. They're just floating around right now. Jason is getting a prequel TV series made by A24. Absolutely love that. Cannot wait to see that movie called Crystal Lake. I think last I heard, Linda Cardellini is going to be Jason Voorhees' mom, which sounds amazing to me. I cannot wait to see what they come up with there. Freddy has been stuck in legal hell forever, for what, 15 years now? No one wants to really like keep the ball rolling and get progression on there. The estate, I guess Wes Craven's estate for A Nightmare on Elm Street, doesn't want anything to do with the franchise as of right now, or are very particular with what they want. Ghostface is going to come out with Scream 7. That has been like one of the main horror IPs that has been chugging along. I'm still not sick of those movies, but I know some people think that Scream is getting long in the tooth. I feel like the Texas Chainsaw franchise has had more bad installments than good installments, so it's just in a weird predicament right now. It's in a special place for horror fans. I feel like horror enthusiasts will go out to go see this franchise, especially if Muschietti is behind it. I feel like that's a big name to get behind it. But the other name that I have heard is in talks to hopefully grab the rights for Texas Chainsaw Massacre is Glenn Powell, of all people. So the team of Glenn Powell, Strange Darling filmmaker JT Molnar, and producer Roy Lee would want to have a package deal. I don't know what Powell would be doing in this movie, if he would be starring, if he would be in a producer role. I'm not sure, but I would hope that would be elite if Glenn Powell was able to actually like get into a horror franchise, especially with Leatherface. I feel like he would bring some gravitas to that project. I would be all here for it. That's for dang sure. I'm just not quite sure where this is going to go. This is very early in development. Again, Legendary has held the rights to the property since 2017. And the movie, again, that came out in 2022, came out in their label, mixed reviews. Obviously didn't really want to do a sequel to that movie. So it's just laid dormant. The 1-2 punch in the past couple of days of IPs going for a bidding war, whether that be Texas Chainsaw or Jason Bourne. We just don't know where like these great properties are going to end up. I will be waiting and lurking and just looking online like I always do daily for like pop-ups of news and tidbits. I love this type of stuff, cannot get enough of it. I love to hear the news aspect, the making of a movie and the process that is behind it, just as much as I do actually watching the film, and hopefully all of that hard work actually pays off for a great final product. And while there is significant amount of interest from several parties, it's quite early in the process to determine who is involved and where it will land. But the participation of some bold-faced names, Texas favorite golden boy Glenn Powell, anyone, has some talking about a free-for-all. That's what I kind of want out of this project, is a lot of interest from not a lot of big studios, but a lot of people who really want to see this franchise shine again. Glenn Powell makes a lot of sense to me just because he grew up in Texas. He moved to LA to do his acting thing, but he has recently moved back to Texas and can now, he has garnered some type of star power to where projects will come to him. I feel like taking the Texas Chainsaw Massacre back to its roots, with Texas having a team of people who really have that really deep entwined into their bloodstreams, would be great for this franchise. Legendary Pictures has held the rights to the property since 2017 and made a movie in 2022 that streamed on Netflix. A sequel never materialized despite hopes. The IP returned to its right holders, Exurbia Films, which I've never heard of, which is run by Pat Cassidy, the original movie's co-screenwriter Kim Heinkel, and son Ian Heinkel, who then turned to their representative at boutique agency Verve. That's crazy to me as well, seeing that such a giant icon in the horror industry is owned. It's nice that it's owned by the screenwriters of the original film. That's very cool. But the rest of the major parties, Verve and Exurbia Films, never heard of any of those entities ever. But let's continue on. There is no bidding war as of yet, since there is no package or take on the material. So that's also a very key thing to know. Maybe the 2022 movie, they just didn't have an idea of how to continue from that point. So they just kind of threw their hands in the air. Fine, somebody else take this, do something with it. Again, I would love to see the takes of Glenn Powell and Andy Muschietti to see what they can bring to the table for this franchise. The high interest in Texas Chainsaw underscores the value of IP not locked down by a media company. It also shows how horror remains a hot genre that will get eyeballs on screens, big or small. Earlier this year, studios went in on massive bidding war for Resident Evil, another horror play that briefly hit the market before landing at Sony. Again, another passionate person that really that understood the material was Zach Krager. Directed Barbarian. He is directing another film, Weapons, that's coming out later this year. I cannot wait to see his take on the Resident Evil franchise, and I think that's what horror fans want to see from well-known established properties, is people that have a good solid take on the subject matter at hand and just see what they can do with it. I can't wait to see what Zach Krager does with Resident Evil. I can't wait to see whatever Glenn Powell and Andy Muschietti are doing with Leatherface. If they even, maybe a new party will emerge. Talks, again, have just started on this. Can't wait to see what A24 does with Friday the 13th. The possibilities here, I just love to talk about and speculate about. One of my favorite things to do is just say, what if, or remember when this and this could have happened earlier? I just love speculating. Speculating is such a fun thing in the movie industry because there's only X amount of films that do get made, and there's a ton that get talked about, a ton of scripts that are written and never made. I could talk about this all day, but I will stop here. That's all that the article really has to say. Very early talk still. Once this story develops, I will be making videos on this. If you want to see more of these movie news videos, let me know in the comments, please. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll see ya. Hey everybody, if you made it this far, congratulations. You found the after credit scene, you did it, good for you. Gotta clap like this, clap like that. My question for you is simple. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise rights are up for grabs. Who would be your dream director to make a Texas Chainsaw film? Or who would you want to star in a Texas Chainsaw movie? Not necessarily who would play Leatherface, if you have an idea for that too. Again, put it in the comments. I always like to see what crazy ideas people have up their sleeves about franchises and IPs that I really like. But that's it. Easy, short, and sweet. I wanted this to be a nice, concise, very short video here. I think it did the job. I want to do more of these, just to kind of put them out, pump them out, that type of fun stuff. Yeah, let me know what you thought in the comments on all the stuff I just said. I don't have a good thing to close out on. Ooh, but I do have a Freddy vs. Jason, no Leatherface. But what? Deathmatch 2003, baby. Maybe we could get Freddy vs. Jason versus Leatherface, finally. Maybe start leading up to that. That would be ideal. Bye-bye!